my biddies, welcome. How are you today? As I said, I seeing if there's a message from my daughter. Um, think I sent her that. Hold on just a second. It's giving me fits. Hold on a second. Yeah, okay. All right. Um, as I said, I had something really important to discuss with you today. And what we are discussing is to the top here. This, which is the National Security Presidential Memorandum number 7. And it is about countering domestic terrorism and organized political violence, supposedly. But what I really want to focus on today is this section right here. Common threads animating this violent conduct include anti Americanism, anti capitalism, which I mean, and anti Christianity. And that's the one I really want to focus on. Anti Christianity. Um, Anti Christianity can mean a lot of things. Who gets to decide what's anti Christian? So, I'm going to stop sharing this. If you want to see this, um, you can just look it up. You can just look up the NSPM-7 and it'll pop right up for you. That's how I found it this morning. So, and who gets to decide Why is my cursor not working? Because it's not on the screen. Duh. Who decides who's a Christian? To me, Christian is a self-identifier. If you say you're a Christian, you're a Christian. You can be a bad Christian, but you're still a Christian. Good Christians don't like to be lumped into that. Oh well, do something about it. That's up to you to do. Um, so here's what I predict is going to happen. They are going to start, of course, going after atheists, Buddhists, Muslims, Jews, Hindus, pagans, anybody that's not identified as a Christian, non-religious people. And if you believe in the Christian God, if you're non-religious, you're not Christian enough. You're not Christian enough. Then they're going to come after other Christians. If you're Catholic or Mormon, you are not Christian enough, and I can tell you that right now. I have heard all my life how Catholics are not Christians. Catholics are not Christians. They have extra books in their Bible, so they can't be Christian. I saw just a couple of weeks ago on a thread about the Mormon church attack in Grand Blanc because I live literally 15 minutes from that church. Somebody literally said in the local Grand Blanc Facebook chat, Mormons aren't Christians. So that's who I predict will come there. I could have this out of order, but that's who I predict. They'll come after the the Catholics and the Mormons first because they're already not considered Christian enough by. And when I say Christians, I'm talking about the nasty fundamentalist evangelical Christians because those are the ones who are the meanest. And also are the ones who have a habit of saying that Mormons and Catholics aren't Christians. Then I predict they're going to come after. So get all those out of the way. Who do you think they're going to come after next? I predict Seventh-day Adventists and Jehovah's Witnesses. Why? They don't worship on the first day of the week like a good Christian does. They have their services on Saturday. They're not Christians. See where I'm going with this? Next, it'll be anybody that's LGBTQ friendly church, Unitarian Universalist, Episcopalians, any church that embraces everyone. Not Christian enough. You're not Christian enough. You're going in the gulag with the rest of us. So I don't know what happens when they whittle it down, but I know they'll go after their own. They'll go after their own too. They already are. So, um, in a way, I'm not worried about this thing taking over. And if it does, it won't last long because they'll decimate themselves. They can't agree on anything. Why do you think there's so many denominations? Because Christians can't agree. They can't agree. And, and then you're born into whatever religion, whatever denomination you're born into. That's the one that's for you. That's the one that's for you. Rarely does people change. If they do change, they usually will go non-religious, even if they believe in God. So I just wanted to say that if you think you're safe, you may not be, and you need to think about that because this is very serious. This is very serious. What's happening? Okay, let's get into some fun stuff because I hate being all seriousness. You know me, I'm more fun than that. So the first read we have is from malicious compliance. Management said we had to work 8 to 5 Eastern time. So we did. And we let them deal with explaining to our California clients why we weren't available. Yeah, this is a problem when you have clients that are out of your time zone. So this happened a while ago before remote work was even a concept, I think 2008-ish. Oh, that's the year I moved in my house. I was working at a large media agency, and for anyone who knows agency work, we typically work around our client's schedule, or at least as best as possible. We were based in New York City, but had California clients, so it was pretty standard that we'd get in at 10 a.m. and leave at 7 to 8 p.m. If you stayed till 9, you could take a car service home. So sometimes we just did that. Most of us were in our 20s, so no big deal. Yeah, New York City. So nice they supplied a car service. That's pretty wild. When a new CEO started, he was used to working in Europe and hated that we weren't in the office at 8 a.m. and forced a company policy that we had to be in the office from 8 to 5. We, of course, followed the rules because who wouldn't want to leave at 5? Let's just say the policy was lifted 2 weeks when our West Coast clients couldn't get a hold of us. Oh, yeah. Well, you have to be flexible. I don't know why this guy from Europe doesn't understand that. Yeah. Um, 10 to 7 or 8 sounds good for an American corporation based on the East Coast that has clients on the West Coast because there's a huge time difference. People in Europe do not realize how big America is. They do not understand how big America is, especially people from like the UK because they live on little tiny islands. It's funny. Oh, we can go to Disneyland. You're in Texas. You're not going to Disneyland, dude. The next one is the best of Redditor updates. My 39 mi- my 39-year-old brother, 45, my 39 male brother, 45, his two sons, 16 and 14, somehow turned out to be alt-right conservatives. They literally said they're better than black people and are more deserving of going to college. No, you're not. My brother told them that if they can't recognize their privilege, they can figure out how to pay for college. Good for him. Good for him. So this was originally um, posted in Relationship Advice. Original post October 21st, 2020. Shoot, I just realized I forgot something. My brother doesn't use Reddit, so I thought I'd try and get some advice from him. Actually, you know what? I need to do something real quick. Um, so I will be right back. I forgot to get my drink and I am already needing it. I'll be right back. We'll start over. That's been in the garage for 6 weeks, so it's flatter than a toenail. Friday's the one day I allow myself to have a pop. Okay, sorry about that. Let's start over. Uh, my 39-year-old male brother, 45, two sons, 16 and 14, somehow turned out to be outright conservatives. They literally say they're better than black people and are more deserving of going to college. You're not. My brother told them if they can't recognize their privilege, they can figure out how to pay for college. Good. Good on him. This was originally posted in relationship advice starting on October 21st, 2020. My brother doesn't use Reddit, so I thought I'd try and get some advice for him. These kids were always a bit odd and awkward, but we just chalked that up to being kids. We're all very close. I see them twice a week. I live in Oakland and they live 10 minutes east of Oakland. Oakland where? Oakland where? Like, do you know how many Oaklands there are? Um, which is a very white suburb. The boys say there's 5 black people at their school, and they were all recruited to play sports there, and they both play football and teammates with a few of them, and are teammates with a few of them. But it's not like we live in the South or anything. I'm assuming this is Oakland, California, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I think every state has an Oakland, or nearly every state. They literally repeat crap you see on 4chan and are all about QAnon. Keep in mind, this was in 2020 when that was a big thing. It's been a little less prominent lately. They're literally crap you see on 4chan and are all about QAnon and start arguments anytime they can. I remember being a teenage boy and loved pushing buttons, but they will say the most misogynistic, homophobic, racist stuff. And then when I try to talk to them, they call me a liberal snowflake. Figures. I try to approach by asking questions and guiding their thought process, like how would you feel if XYZ? They say, I wouldn't care, I would just work hard, or I wouldn't whine about it, while they're literally whining about not getting into college because they probably don't deserve to go to college. I've obviously talked to my brother about this privately, and he's just at his wits' end. Poor guy. I suggest he force them into volunteer in Oakland or something like that to try and show them how normal people of less privilege are. I've always thought if you get exposed to the group you are adverse to, you realize how similar you both are. Yeah. My brother finally snapped and asked them why they get to go to college and not all the kids at Oakland Tech. And they literally said they're better than them. And it's proven to be such. And they deserve to go to college more because affirmative action is BS. Mind you, they both get mostly C's and few B's. My brother acted out of impulse and told them they can find their own way to pay for college, but is sticking to his guns. And now the boys won't talk to him. Good. Who cares? And have told me they blame black people for getting their dad to think this way. Yeah, black people made it. Yeah, no. He's just a good person, unlike his kids. Where did he go wrong? I'm shocked by their behavior, but I feel my brother's decision will just push them further down this path. It is okay for them to be Republican. Hell, if they're just Trump supporters, I feel they could make it work. Just avoid certain conversations. But it feels like they're a step away from becoming Nazis. No, they already are. They already are. And we're seeing the end result of that, aren't we? This is not good. Any advice? The TLDR is nephews have turned into alt-right bigots, and brother says if they can't recognize their privilege, then they do. I don't think he finished that. Then they do not get to go to college, or that he doesn't get to pay for it. Relevant comments, caught up 12. Tell your brother that he is the man. These kids will get a firm reality check in their coming years if they don't change their outlook on life and society. Sounds like they are headed down a destructive path and fast. Yes. Yes, they are. They are 16 and 14. They need their dad and will soon be begging for his help if he doesn't budge. If he does, they know they can get away with this BS. Tell him to stand his ground. Oh, OP, that's what I said to him at first, but maybe should have threatened something smaller because if he doesn't follow through with this, it'll be an empty threat and they won't take him seriously. No, he's just got to stick to his guns. If you tell your kids, if you do this, this will be what happens. You have to follow through with this will be this is what happens. Um, Who did said, so I assume from the bit about the kids being recruited to their school for sports that they are in a private school. So step one would be sending them to public school. They'll get worse at first, seeing a large sample size with a spectrum of behavior from their peers of color, but they'll see it from white kids as well, and they'll see plenty of counterexamples of the not in the non-white kids. Eventually, there'll be so many exceptions to their standard that it will hollow out like a Swiss cheese of racist nav- naivety. I don't know what they means by that. Step two: no more allowance, cars, luxuries, or whatever else he's giving them. Yeah, they want to earn and be better than the others? Cool. Go get crap jobs and fast food. Yep. The best route would be to work under managers who are not white. I think this is better than volunteering because when you volunteer with disadvantaged communities, it's challenging not to look down on them and reinforce the views they have. Actually, those are steps two and three. Step one is cutting them off from the internet. Yes. Trade in the smartphones for flip phones, parental controls on the computers, and put any computers out of their bedrooms. He needs to treat this like you treat a 10-year-old who's been caught with internet porn. As for college, if they want to go, they should pay their own. That means debt, work during school, and higher DTI ratio after graduating. So far, they have been the recipients of others' work and deceive themselves into believing they have earned it or deserve it. Let them see what they can earn without daddy's help. The experience should prove empathy, but even if it doesn't, it will help prevent their joining the yacht club frats that breed racism on campus. OOP, they go to a public school, but it's one of the best ones in California, is almost all white. I don't think the kids are technically recruited, but there's always a few that drive from Oakland or Richmond to play sports because it's a pretty good football school. I didn't think of what you were saying though, but maybe sending them to Oakland High or even Skyline could be the move. Yeah, public schools kind of recruit people too, even though they're not supposed to. Squillum Fancy Son says, it's a crazy idea, but hear me out. It could benefit them to sit down with a reformed white supremacist. Oh, that is a good idea. Good idea. They need to look at what they could become in the future and hear from someone who's thought like them and learn from their mistakes. There are a lot of groups out there to help de radicalize members from hate groups and help rehabilitate, like Life After Hate. If you can find one of these organizations, reach out and see if they can help you with this situation. I really wish you the best of luck. Oh. So 5 days later, he finishes that sentence. It's the update on October 26th. 5 days later, college, sorry, ran out of, out of characters. So he finished his sentence 5 days later. He finished his sentence. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for their genuine advice. I got so many DMs after the comments were locked with specific YouTube videos to show my brother and his kids. And it's really heartwarming knowing people who have been through something similar have made it out the other end. It's an interesting situation for me to be in because they are family and very close, but it is obviously my brother and his wife's decision. I'm just here to support it. Good uncle. Good on you. That's exactly what you should be doing. Also, grandparents. Grandparents should also just, it's their kids. They get to decide. You get to support. I mean, you can guide a little bit because they are your kids, but uncles and aunts you don't even get to do that, especially if you don't have kids yourself. I showed them every comment, and we were just talking about everything in the backyard Thursday night. I was surprised by by my brother saying, "I'm not backing down. We need to make sure they don't feel completely cut off. We need to treat them normally. We tell them we love them, reinforce positive behavior, eat dinners as a family, etc., etc." There were a few comments suggesting that punishment will only reinforce the belief that they are victims of this situation. We discussed how important it is for them to still feel loved and supported. Also, punishment is not a good idea. Consequences. The consequence of you acting like you're superior to someone else and deserve to go to college more, consequence for that is you get to pay for your own college. And we decided that we would take them backpacking just to get some space between them and their parents. I didn't have any big speech planned or anything. I wanted to go into it, letting them initiate the conversation and me just listening and asking questions. And that's what I did. We did a 2-night trip up in Tahoe along the PCT. It's the Pacific Coast Trail. There's a movie about that. I think Reese Witherspoon is in it. It was nice enough weather-wise, but it got really cold Friday night. Luckily, we were able to stumble upon one of the Sierra Club huts, so we had great shelter, but I think it toughened them up a little, and I was surprised by their resilience. Oh, that's good. They are still young. The boys were really grumpy and didn't talk at all on the drive up. It was pretty quiet for the first mile or so, and then they just started talking. The younger one just said, "Do you really think Dad was being serious?" And I just responded, "I'm not entirely sure, but it's up to him. Why do you ask? Do you think that's fair?" They started complaining about how it wasn't fair and how he's just been tricked by the leftist media. I just kept asking them why they thought that and was trying to get them to say the stuff that they were thinking out loud in hopes that they would hear how crazy it sounds. I mean, that's the Socratic method. Just ask questions. It works sometimes. I've used it. We got to the lake on day 2 and it was a much better day. They really felt like the kids I was watched growing up, and they started reminiscing over past family trips. School before COVID, we talked about sports, girls, everything. I was careful, but I tried to thread in points about racism privilege to what we were talking about, like their black teammates on the football team. Excuse me. Like with their black teammates on the football team, and I asked them what they had to go through at their school and what they've overcome. Turns out one of the kids has gone through some major crap that he's shared with the football team, and I honestly feel like I got them to empathize, not emphasize, empathize. We talked about politics too, and I stressed to them that there is nothing wrong with being Republican, Mm. but you have to form your own ideas about things instead of repeating what talking heads say. I asked them about their social studies classes, and it really feels like they're trying to be contrarians because they love to argue. They said they get into arguments in class all the time. All in all, I just wanted them to feel like they weren't being abandoned. My goal was just to listen because it was my fear that they felt they weren't being heard and then would lash out. We got home yesterday afternoon and the parents made them a big lunch and we all ate together, talked about the trip and laughed together. Toward the end of the meal, their dad got more serious and talked about last week. He said something to the tune of, "I want you to know that we love you very much and always will. We are proud of so many things that you have done, but we need to be clear that this racist and hateful behavior is not okay." Good on dad. Good dad. He then said they are both getting jobs as soon as possible, and their dad is letting them put that money into their own checking accounts. And then he has a separate account set up for their education and told them that he will match each dollar they put in the education account. If there's any left over at the end of college, it's theirs to do what they please. Parents will still feed them, buy them clothes, but everything, including gas and auto insurance, is on them. Ooh. In our house, we did the love and logic way. As long as they got good grades, they got their car insurance paid for. My kids bought their own cars. We didn't supply them with cars, but we did. And they bought their own gas, but we did pay the auto insurance for them. The boys were annoyed by this, obviously, but they seemed relieved and they weren't going to have to pay for it all. They seemed relieved that they weren't going to have to pay for all of their own college. Additionally, he asked them how much screen time per day they think is reasonable. They said 2 hours. It's good to ask your kids what their consequences should be. Sometimes they're more strict than you are. They said 2 hours, and the dad said maybe one day, but let's find a middle ground. And they agreed on 1 hour a day after homework, sports, and jobs were completed. They could only use their devices in common areas of the home. After the hour, they were going to show mom or dad what they watched or played. He also showed them they were getting flip phones, and if they wanted to iPhone again, they could pay for it themselves. My brother and I discussed a few of the comments that were kind enough to shed light on forcing them into volunteer, and we heard you. The last stipulation was that they were going to volunteer with a charity of their choice once a month. Doesn't have to be in Oakland or to do with POC. And they would be the ones to reach out and set it up. All in all, I think this weekend was a success. The boys are mad, but it feels like they are overwhelmed with this new sense of responsibility, which I think is a good thing because it means they're taking this seriously. Now it's on their parents to keep up and reinforce everything. We are asking around to see if any of our friends know a reformed racist person to talk to them, but I think we might wait to see how this plays out a little bit. Thank you, everyone, for your support and advice. I might make another update in a few months to let you know how it goes. Crema Company, top comment, Kremla Co. Your brother did the right thing, and actually, I wouldn't have even paid for anything since they're so much better. Imagine taking all that crap and getting C's. How about they pull themselves up by their bootstrap and work hard like they claim? You don't get to bum off your parents and feel like you're superior. Sorry, this is not effing 4chan. Yeah. Yes, that's the last update. Or if you ever did another update. Account's been banned. Interesting. So that account's been banned for some reason. Hmm. Well, that sucks. Um, this top comment is from Slight Citron. Uh, I would just work harder. I wouldn't whine about it. Then proceeds to whine about having to work harder. Honestly, they're only getting C's in school. Should they really have jobs? They need to be doing more homework. Um, Probably less football. Less football is always a good choice. Probably getting their heads banged up too much from the football too. Okay. This next one's from Am I Overreacting? AIO for wanting my boyfriend to back out of a destination wedding he's the best man for because I was uninvited from the wedding. Um, yeah, you're overreacting. Unless this is egregious, she should let her boyfriend go to the wedding that he's a part of. What'd you do to screw up? My boyfriend, 35 male, is the best man for his best friend's wedding in a few months. I, 31 female, was originally invited to this wedding as his plus one as well. The wedding is a destination wedding in an extremely expensive resort. All flights and hotels for both of us have been booked and paid for already. Well, you can still go on the trip. You don't have to, just can't go to the wedding stuff. I've met the bride and groom a handful of times and have always been friendly with them. I was invited to attend their joint bachelorette trip as my boyfriend's plus one. I attended the weekend trip and had a good time getting to know everyone that will be at the wedding, and I was really looking forward to seeing everyone again at the wedding. I never felt any sort of animosity come out of the weekend, thinking everyone had a great time partying with each other. Turns out the bride felt some kind of way about me and has uninvited me from the wedding. I wonder what she did. Or what the bride thinks. Maybe the bride's just being bridezilla. It's possible. But if you're uninvited, you're uninvited. But you can still go on the trip. You've already paid for it all. I have not heard any conversations with the bride and groom, but my boyfriend received the news from the groom. From what I heard, the conversation, the groom doesn't agree with his fiance and was really uncomfortable to deliver this message, but his hands were tied. Why? My boyfriend has received details on what happened to make the bride feel that way toward me, and we both agree it's a ridiculous overreaction and a huge misunderstanding. Long story short, the bride felt as if I didn't make the effort to make her feel special and was trying to take her spotlight. Hi, Lauren. Welcome to the stream. um, my boyfriend contracted my boyfriend contacted the other friends who were there that weekend as well, and everyone is agreement that this is an overreaction and misunderstanding. It's not a misunderstanding. It's just the bride being a bridezilla. I don't get where brides are like it's all me 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 me. You have a guy there too, girl. Um, Plus it's like no one ever. Well, normal people do not want to take away from your day. Yes, there are those people who have to be the first person, the star of everything. But most of the time, people just want to celebrate you, and you should just take that on face value. The thing that bothers me the most is that everything was listed out that I was doing to make her feel that way, and everybody else was doing it as well. But yet it seems there was a magnifying glass on me, and she has a vendetta against me for some reason. My boyfriend thinks it was a series of unfortunate events that started at a house party a few months ago when I beat her in Mario Kart and everyone was cheering for me. That's what it is. Jealousy rears its ugly head again. The thing that bothers me the most is that everything was oh, sorry. I already did that one. Oops. I voiced to my boyfriend that I'm more than willing to have a conversation with the bride to clear the misunderstanding and try to get her to change her mind. But at the same time, I'm not really sure I want to go to this wedding anymore, anyways, as I would hate to be somewhere I'm not wanted. My reasoning for going would be more to support my boyfriend and enjoy the vacation with him. I still think she should go. She should go with him. Enjoy your time. You can do stuff alone. You don't have to have your boyfriend there with you. Maybe somebody else wasn't invited to the wedding too, and you can team up with them because it sounds like a lot of people probably weren't invited to this wedding. That being said, I shared with my boyfriend if the decision stays and I'm uninvited, I would be upset if he still decided to go without me. I may feel differently once if it wasn't one, it wasn't an expensive destination wedding that takes away valuable vacation days he doesn't have a lot of, or two, we are in agreement that my actions justified this decision in any way. For me, him attending without me feels like he's agreeing with the decision and is choosing to stick by his friend over sticking up for me. AIO for wanting my boyfriend to back out. I think this is an overstep. Um, the groom is still your boyfriend's friend, and he should be there. Even if he doesn't completely agree, he should still be there to support his friend. And he's in the wedding. He's been invited to the wedding. He's planned this wedding. I'm sure it's been a long process, a long time coming. He should go to the wedding and you should go on the trip. So edit. Wow, this got way more traction than I ever imagined it would. Thank you for all the time to share your thoughts and insights. It's been helpful for me to read through and process my emotions. It was all super fresh news when I wrote this out this morning. I've had time to process. I think my next step will be to reach out to the bride and have a talk to her and see exactly from her perspective what went wrong that ultimately made the decision to uninvite me. Don't do that. It'll be stupid. It'll be stupid. These things are always stupid. It's been a game of telephone so far. It would be helpful to hear from the source. She's got a point there. I plan on apologizing to her during this conversation between even though it may seem like an overreacting and misunderstanding to me and others. What she felt was obviously real and real enough for her to make this decision. My hope is from this conversation that we can at least be cordial moving forward and be friendly for the sake of our men, even if we won't ever be true friends. We'll post another update after we've had the talk. Thanks again, Reddit. Edit 2. Had another night to think about the situation. Reading through this thread, and it's really split 50-50. Seeing the angles of everyone's insight has been super helpful. I'm going to talk to my boyfriend tonight and mention that while my feelings of upset are valid, it's not on me to dictate whether he should go to the wedding or not. Good decision. Good for you, girl. Good for you. And I understand, like, in the moment decision of no, no, I don't want you to go either. I understand that. It's good. Good. This is a good girl. She thinks about things and comes to different and can change her mind given more time and stepping back a little bit. I'm understanding of the situation and realize that he should be there to support his best friend through this important moment. He has made it very clear to me as well that he would be attending to support his friend specifically. I do not agree with most of the comments telling me I should just go on the vacation with my boyfriend and have him minimize his time during wedding duties uh, only necessities only. No, no, he shouldn't minimize his time with the wedding duties, but you should definitely go on the trip. You can do stuff alone. It's fine. I will bring this option up to him, and hopefully we're able to come to an agreeable compromise that leaves us both feeling heard and understood. Edit 3. I told my boyfriend that I plan to reach out the bride to hear her side of the story and apologize for my wrongdoings on our part. But he said it doesn't think it's the right time right now, as the groom has been going to bat for us and bride has been crying a lot, so I'd like the dust to settle. Oh, okay. This is causing some problems. I wonder if this wedding is going to go, is going to still go. I guess at this point, I'm kind of at a standstill and waiting for a final decision to be made by the bride and groom. The wedding isn't for a few months. So we have some time to hopefully settle this and be on good terms and maybe even look back and laugh at how ridiculous this all was one day. I hope so. That'd be nice. And this will probably be my last update for a while until there's an actual update to give. Once again, I'd like to thank everyone who took the time for to give your insight, your wisdom. I was pretty 50-50 about my thought process. It seems like the internet is too. Hearing both sides has definitely been helpful for my thought process. Episode or update 4. This is a continuation of my previous post, as that post has been locked. A few amendments to my previous post slash comments. Turns out I actually paid for the flights. It's been so long since we booked, I forgot. The resort is technically refundable since you don't pay until you get there. The groom has said he would pair up my boyfriend with another guest that's coming alone, as the rooms are priced per 2 occupants. No, go on your trip. There's always stuff to do. Things to see. Your boyfriend will probably get jealous because you're doing fun stuff. I told my boyfriend that while it's valid for me to be upset at the situation, it's not valid me to dictate whether you should go to the wedding or not. I understand the tough spot you're in and don't want to make it more difficult for you. Whatever the final decision come to is, you should go to support his friend. If the decision stays that they won't want me at the wedding, maybe I can still go to the resort together and I'll just enjoy some solo spa time while you're doing wedding stuff. That way we can still have time together and can fill your best man duties. Very good. This is what she should have done in the first place. He was very against this idea, saying it would most definitely cause a lot of drama and alienate me further from the group. I don't think so. I said that he knows his friend group better than me, and if he feels like this would cause more stress for him, I'll bow out. I mentioned that if he doesn't want me to stay at the same resort, I could go to a different resort in the area, so at least the flights aren't wasted. He was against this idea as well and said I should just stay home or go to a different destination completely. Okay, he's being a turd. I have no reason to think that my boyfriend is being unfaithful, as some of the comments in my previous post have mentioned. It just seems to be a point that we don't align on. He wants to make it as drama-free for the bride and groom on their wedding weekend by prioritizing their comforts and needs over mine. Well, that's not cool. The bride's the one making the drama, not her. I want to be the understanding girlfriend so badly, but man, am I torn between feeling neglected as the girlfriend versus trying to let it go and not die on this hill. So this was posted a month ago. So the wedding probably still hasn't happened. Curious Josh says, ultimately, only you can answer the question of, am I okay with this? But if you're feeling torn between wanting to be understanding and also feeling like everyone is being taken care of but you, maybe it's good to express this. Also, you don't have any best girlfriends, because you should take that plane ticket refund and do a trip with friends. Get out, don't stay at home, go see parents, etc. Be better to have fun than mope. Yeah, that's true. She should at least do something. I think she should go on the trip. Screw her boyfriend. He can deal with it. This is his friend. His friend needs to deal with it. And if the tickets aren't refundable, his boyfriend needs to pay her. He needs to pay her all the money back. All the monies. All the monies. Yeah, I think she should go on the trip. Like she said, she can have a spa day. She can sit on the beach, provided there's a beach or somewhere, and read a book and just relax and have fun. Maybe there's a museum in the area she can go to. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff to do at most resorts. Our next read is from AI. Our next read is from AITAH. AITAH for moving back home after my husband left me, even though I'm pregnant. No, of course not. What are you supposed to do? I've been getting cruel messages from my ex's family and our friends for the past few days. My soon to be ex husband, Levi, 33 male, and I, 28 female, have been together for a decade, married for 5 years. So they've been together since she was 18 and he was 23. That's verging on a problem. I'm currently pregnant with our first baby due next month. Well, at least they waited to have friends or to have kids. After I graduated, I moved back to his hometown, a major city on the West Coast, with him. I'm from a bigger city in the Midwest, but I love living out there. I thought we were happy. We planned our baby and we were so excited. But a few weeks ago, he told me he was going to file for divorce. He said he didn't want to be tied down anymore. He was still young and needed to live his life, etc. He said there was nobody else, but I know since then he's been seeing someone, so there was somebody else. Yeah. Hmm. So, yeah, that's sad. This guy. He wanted me to move out, but this is my house too. I put down the down payment even, so he's been staying with his friend Lewis. I can't afford to live here on my own while maintaining my lifestyle. Sure, I could make it work, but it would be the kind of lifestyle I'd want to live, especially with a baby. I make really good money, even I make really good money even, but it's so expensive. I have friends for sure, but not the support system he does. No family here. So I've decided to move back home, and luckily my company has a location in my hometown, so I was able to keep my job. That's good. That's a good move. Um, he decided this, she didn't. What's that's he can't complain. He can't complain. There's nothing to complain about. This was his decision. Decisions have consequences. My parents have been so supportive. They're divorced and hate one another, but they are now combined in their hatred of Levi, which is interesting to see. They've secured me a nice rental home in my city and refused to let me pay them back, saying I need to save for to buy my next house. They're paying for my divorce lawyer, my co-pays, and my new doctor here. They're paying okay, the sentence makes no sense. They're paying said I'm doing the right thing for my baby and are happy to help. My mom is about to retire and even wants to watch the baby while I work for after my maternity leave. So it's been an ideal situation for me. Good for her. That good parents, good supportive parents. This is what you do. Levi is furious. Of course he is. Of course he is. He's claiming that he moved back to get back at him. I'm going to try and keep him out of our baby's life. I explained very clearly that I couldn't afford to be a single mom in San Diego, but he doesn't believe me. He's told everyone I moved back to get the upper hand on custody. That's not why I moved, but it's definitely a plus. His job doesn't have any locations here, and they won't keep him if he moves. He could get another job here, of course, but he says that's too much to ask of him. I told him I'd be going for child support once the baby is born, and he told me I needed to make up my mind. He could be a dad or no. I told him he was going to be a dad regardless, and if he doesn't want to move here, then he would be a dad paying child support. I don't think I'm the a-hole. I think what I have to do, but I think I'm doing what I have to do. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to say to all these people texting and calling me and telling me I'm keeping Levi's baby from him. No, Levi's keeping Levi's baby from him because he could have stayed in the marriage and been a dad. What did he expect her to do? Suffer? Did he want her to suffer? Because that's what it sounds like. Top comment, NTA, more likely the ones bugging you don't know the truth of the situation. Exactly. She answers, I mean, they know he's divorcing me, but that they think I'm being petty and should just scale back my lifestyle so I can afford to stay in California. No. Why should I scale back my hobbies, travel, and savings just to convenience him? Exactly. And Keep Hope Alive for You says it's not just that. You wouldn't you rather raise a baby where your mother is there to assist you? I mean, yeah, if they're divorced, the mother-in-law's not likely to be. I mean, she might be. It depends on the mother-in-law. She might actually take her side. Um, but it's not like having your mom. It's not like having your own mom. No, I think she's doing the right move. Like I said, if Levi's mad, hey, Levi, consequences of your actions. Should have thought this through before you did it. Oh, am I the devil? This is always bad. Almost always bad. So am I the devil entitled? I made my boyfriend throw out his cat. And this is from originally posted in the cat free subreddit. My boyfriend threw out our cat and I'm grateful for it. Edit. LOL, the Reddit cares thing was just useless for anyone who did that. Somebody reported it. My boyfriend and I have had a cat since August of last year, and recently he got rid of it, and I'm so thankful he did. I've had problems with the cat ever since it was a kitten, and I've tried to train it for the entire time I had it before I gave up. My boyfriend is a cat lover, so we decided to get one because he said all of his old cats back in his childhood home were well behaved and friendly. I thought we were getting a kitten, and it would end up like that too, since I've never owned a cat. I was gravely wrong. It always yelled at night whenever it was hungry, scratching the door while I was trying to sleep. That's why you don't close the door on cats. I was at my wit's end. I became more cranky and snappy toward my boyfriend because of my lack of sleep functionality, straining our relationship. It was awful. We've had fights over the cat because I was breaking down constantly over it. He promised to take it to a shelter but never kept his word. And the main reason might be silly, but it was the straw that broke the camel's back. It ate the chicken breast my dad had given me when I told him I was feeling depressed. I never really had a relationship with my father until last year, and we had gotten closer. The chicken was a sign he cared about me. So imagine how it felt when he came back from washing my hands to see that the effing rocks for brains knocked over the KFC bucket, eating the chicken. I couldn't ever think about caring for the little rat anymore. I knew it was bad, but I seriously considered killing the cat. Oh my gosh. I just imagined it would die horribly or get snatched up by a native bird of prey. So at least it could be useful for once. I had to talk to my therapist about it to work everything out since I wasn't in a good mental state because of that thing. So after I broke down for the final time, I made my boyfriend choose me or the cat, and he made the right choice. Well, it sounds like you were didn't know what you were doing training the cat. You didn't have a cat before. How do you know how to train one? Top comment. I'm sorry, but what kind of effing idiot leaves a bucket of chicken out unattended with a cat in the house? Ah. Yeah, get an auto feeder. Sounds like she's depressed. Well, or she's just lacking sleep if the cat is really keeping her up. We know how that goes. Lack of sleep is a torture device for a reason. uh, yeah, lack of sleep could make you go literally insane. I have seen it happen. We had a cat. My husband turned out to be definitely allergic. Wasn't sleeping. Turned into a crazy person. Like he was not himself. He was not himself. It's funny now, but it wasn't funny when it was going on. Why do I have that up there twice? Okay, so our little break. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually about 10 in the morning. If you have a story of your own or one you came across in the wild, you can email Biddy Brunch Bunch, all one word, at gmail.com, and I might read it for our bunch. Put in the title submission so I know that it's a submission you want read. I may not read it right away. No, he never wanted the cat dead. He just wanted to sleep and not be crazy. And not be a crazy person who tells people to move their seats when they're sitting in a normal seat that anyone can sit in. So weird. It was doing some weird stuff. Next read is oh, it wasn't always move seats. It wasn't. He changed glasses once too because he didn't like the glass I poured his pop in. The glass he was normally perfectly fine with. He was a crazy person. AITA for not wanting to educate a kid about my wheelchair. Hmm, maybe. Well, they've decided that it's not the a-hole, but let's read and find out for ourselves. Hey everyone, I, 39 female, temporarily have to use a wheelchair for longer distances due to a currently undiagnosed issue with my leg. Well, that doesn't sound good. My PT advised me to use one, and my husband rented a nice small wheelchair for me. I'm able to roll myself, good workout, and did some training and maneuvers at our local shopping center. I visited in a small zoo last weekend with my husband. My husband was getting coffee, and I was waiting outside the restaurant. A kid, age 7, I don't know, not good with ages, and his dad got curious about my wheelchair. I understand that kids get curious and want to ask questions, but I barely understood why I'm in the wheelchair currently. I was really not in the mood to explain my issues or be educational about it. So I just mentioned that sometimes someone's legs doesn't work. Cue to more questions, I said that I don't want to answer any more questions because I was tired. The kid's dad wasn't pleased with that response and mentioned that it was a good lesson for the kid. Now, I basically wanted to tell him that I'm not a zoo attraction, but there was a kid and I didn't want to make drama. Luckily, my husband showed off with coffee and rolled me away. AITA for not wanting to educate a kid about my wheelchair. It's not educating the kid about your wheelchair, it's educating a kid about why you're in the wheelchair, A. Um, top comment is from Admire Myrene. The dad wasn't pleased with that response and mentioned that it was a good lesson for the kid. Yeah, the dad should have kind of stayed out about it. Yeah, and it does sound like she doesn't like kids. Um, then why isn't he teaching his child lots of lessons for this one's, for instance, learning how to respect a total stranger's privacy, learning that just because you think you're entitled to know, you actually aren't, learning that most times your need to know doesn't trump someone else's need to be left alone. Yeah, after the first question, the dad should have stepped in. That's true. Um, and you don't need to tell your medical history to strangers or anyone else. Um, but if you had questions about the wheelchair, like how it works, whole different thing. Which is what she made it sound like. Um, yeah, she didn't need to tell the kid any more than she did, but also, um, the dad should have stepped in. So, and she did. I mean, she did answer the question, and that's all she needed to do. So she's not the a-hole for not continuing to answer questions. She answered the question she was supposed to. So I agree. Not the a-hole. Um, show up at 10 o'clock and we can start doing our interactive stuff. That would be fun. Um, this is from Neighbors from Hell. Apparently, I'm a deviant in my own living room. I was bringing groceries today when my neighbor from 2 houses down approached me completely without preamble and said, I could have you arrested. I never spoke to this woman. I don't know her. I don't know where she lives because I've never seen her in her yard. So, of course, I say I don't understand. I've never done anything to you. You showed my son your tits. You could have this on the sex offender registry. What? Now I'm like, WTF? I have never stepped 1 foot outside my house without proper breast coverage. Yeah, I wear low cut tops and a couple of shirts that lace up the front and show an inch of skin between my breasts, but I don't walk around with my boobs on display. I tell this lady I've never shown my breasts to anyone but my doctor and that her son must be mistaken. Read lying, because that's not something I do. Well, he was walking through your yard last night. Why you in her yard? Why you in her yard, kid? And says you lifted up your shirt and showed him your tits. Guys, wasn't outside last night. I was inside in my armchair paying Expedition 33. So of course I tell this lady that and she fires right back. You did it through the window. And all the windows on the side of my house facing the road and my left and right neighbors have opaque curtains or blinds. The back of the living room has windows with no curtains so my cats can look out. But my backyard has a privacy fence on all sides. So this kid to have seen me at all last night had to have been in my private backyard looking in my open windows. Peeping Tom. I have eczema. It's itches like hell sometimes. And sometimes I lift my shirt and scratch my chest and back. This kid probably saw me scratching my boobs, which I feel comfortable doing in my living room because, again, privacy fences on all sides of my backyard where this kid should not have been. I try to explain to this crazy lady the setup on my windows and how I have no idea how anyone was in my private backyard, and she's insisting. I knew her son was there and I gave him a private show and should be on a registry. She finished saying, "Well, I'm going to talk to the police and see what they'll do about that." Do about what? A kid peeking in my windows? Her kid walking around my backyard without permission? Like, come on, lady. Can't a girl scratch her boobs in the privacy of her own home? Oh. If my kid went to another neighbor's yard and saw something they shouldn't have seen, I'd be having a talk with him about giving people privacy in their own homes and asking before exploring a yard. But nope, apparently I'm the devil for scratching a skin condition. Our local police force are mostly decent, and I doubt this is going anywhere. But it pisses me off. I guess now I have to watch out for this kid in my backyard every time I want to watch a movie with nudity or walk through the house with my underwear on to get something out of my dryer to wear. Ugh. Edit. The son is approximately 8 and possibly neurodivergent from the number of autism bumper stickers on her car. I think he's just a victim of mom who won't teach him appropriate behaviors. Yeah. Why would you tell your mother this? Like, kid, keep it to yourself, dude. Call the police first and report her son for being a peeping Tom. This and get some easy to install cameras on the outside and record the lobby of your property. Should the neighbor come again, Amazon Blink wireless set connects to your Wi-Fi and just uses 2 lithium batteries. I want one of those. You need one screw to attach it. Motion activated sprinklers and fox urine should be mentioned about now. Oh my goodness. Yeah, kid's weird. Don't go in other people's backyards. Don't look in other people's windows. They're in their own home. Definitely don't look at my windows because I sometimes am not properly clothed for human consumption. I'm here alone on acreage. The next read is from Oh No, Consequences. I put a grenade in my relationship with my wife. I lost everything and I have no one to blame but myself. I just need to get this out. Uh, the original is from True Off My Chest. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm not justifying anything. I effed up. It's my fault. I just need to get this out because there's no one I can talk to. My wife and I were having issues, the usual issues, the struggle and strain of life, raising a family, etc. We were struggling and nothing was getting better, and I felt like it wasn't good enough. I felt like I wasn't good enough and that I never would be. Then I met Carly online. She was much younger than me, so we just talked about talk. Oh, man. She was much younger than me, so we just talked. But then she started flirting with me and made me feel good. I didn't tell her I was married. I didn't want her to stop flirting. Dude, I told myself it wouldn't go anywhere. It was just enjoying the attention. We were just talking. She lived in the other side of the world, and there was no chance of us meeting. Then we had cyber sex. Oh, geez, dude. So you have an affair. I felt better than I had in ages. Cyber sex then became video and phone sex anytime my wife was out. We sent photos and videos every day. Yeah, you're having an affair. You're having an affair, dude. The more time I spent with Carly, the more I couldn't stand being with my wife, so I broke up with her. I didn't tell my wife about the affair. I gave other excuses, but my wife knew something was up and found out about the affair. It broke her. She didn't eat, didn't sleep. She cried all the time. Of course she did. Of course she did. What'd you expect her? What'd you expect to happen? I justified it by telling myself my wife is a strong woman. She'll get over it. I hated myself for thinking that way, but I did. Eh. My wife went to therapy, stopped crying, started eating and sleeping again, started smiling again, stopped begging me not to leave. I thought, great. See, I was right. I stopped feeling guilty and I felt relieved. Now, you should always feel guilty about that. My wife and I had to live together for a while until I found a place, but I barely saw her and she barely spoke to me. At first, it was great, but then I started to feel off, like I had come home to an empty house, even though it wasn't. At that point, I should have had. At that point, I should have seen sense. I should have stopped. Instead, I started to resent my wife. Somehow, in my mind, she was trying to sabotage my happiness. It made me angry. I snapped, made passive aggressive comments. I hate myself for every word, every nasty text, every accusation. Dude, what you doing? I moved out. Living with my wife has been awkward, but the new place was, I don't know. Even though I rarely see her, every room contained her presence, even when she wasn't there. But staying in the new place made me feel more alone than I ever had. I had free reign. I had free reign to talk to Carly anytime I wanted, do anything I wanted, but it felt so pointless. The new place felt so effing awful, like a prison. So you were just in it for the excitement. It was the excitement you were in it for. I started to dread going home. I'd stay out for hours, hanging around supermarkets, wander the streets, sit on a park bench, anything but go home, even if it meant not talking to Carly. Then one time I passed a perfume shop. I smelled my wife's perfume, and I don't know why, but I broke down. At that moment, I didn't want to talk to Carly. I wanted my wife. Carly and I broke up. I thought I'd miss her, but I didn't. I missed the things my wife did, small things, big things. I didn't miss single thing Carly did. During handover of my daughter one day, I blurted out that Carly and I broke up. I don't know why. I didn't even mean to. It just came out. My wife nodded and said, "Sorry to hear that, but I don't know why, but that stung." She didn't say it spitefully. She was calm and pleasant, like we were just talking about the weather or something. I almost wish she'd said it with some spite or glee or something, but she didn't. Anytime I try to talk about us or what happened, my wife shuts the conversation down. Good for her. Good, she should. Shouldn't have to talk to you about that. She's civil, but she looks at me like I'm a stranger, because you are. Who are you, even? The other day, I put my hand on her back just out of habit, and she looked so disgusted. I've never seen her make that face, and certainly not at me. I feel so effing broken. I know it's my own fault. I did this. I deserve all of this. I sabotaged everything good in my life for nothing, for a lie. Carly didn't know I was married, and nobody knew I was seeing anyone else, even months after the separation. What was I doing? I got served divorce papers this morning. I'm not looking for sympathy. I don't deserve it. I know I'm a selfish, stupid prick. I know it's all my fault. I wish I could go back, but I can't. The worst part is I don't even know why I did it. Yeah, we had problems, but I can think of 1,000 ways to fix them. Why didn't I think of them then? Because you didn't want to. You didn't want to fix it then. I'm sitting here staring at the divorce papers, and I don't know what to do. My first instinct is to fight them, but I can't. I shouldn't. You're right, you shouldn't. I want to fight so bad it hurts, but I can't. Not after what I did. I ended up calling in sick, and I have been sitting at the kitchen counter crying, thinking about everything I did, everything I said, everything I wished I could take back. There's no one I can talk to about this. The person I normally talk to is my wife, but I effed that up. Everybody hates me, my friends, my family. I deserve hate. I deserve all of this. I did it to myself, to everyone. I just want to get it off my chest because I don't know what else to do or where else to turn. Guess internet strangers are my only option. Yeah, dude. Consequences of your own actions. You should probably think things through before you start an affair on the internet. Just saying. Also, don't send money to people on the internet, even if they tell you they overcharged you. Just saying. Don't do that. Top commenter from Mixed Bag of Crazy. Mixed Bag of Crazy. Sometimes I feel like that. Ah ha ha, what an idiot. Uh, repeats this stuff about wife going to therapy. Always got to be the victim. And robot teeth, Kay answered. Because those just do shit like that for the thrill of sneaking around. Exactly. That's exactly what I said. And the excitement of possibly getting caught. It's no fun when the person they're trying to hurt doesn't care. There's nothing worse for someone like that than the person they're destroying having apathy and moving on. He wanted her to cry and beg and forgive him so he could do it again and get off. Yep, he's exactly right. It's exactly correct. If you're unhappy in your marriage, get a divorce, don't have an affair. You meet someone after. If you're that unhappy, you shouldn't be together. Let's learn this from Entitled People called The Entitled House Guest from Hell. It's pretty short. I, 45 female, let my friend, 40 female, stay in my guest bedroom what was supposed to be a couple of days. After a week of sending me a text message from my guest room ordering me around like I was a hired help, she marches into my bedroom wearing clothes she told me weren't mine. Oh, wait. After a week of getting text messages from my guest room ordering me around like I was the hired help, she marches into my bedroom wearing my clothes she told me weren't mine and says, I've given it some thought and I think it would be better for me and my dogs, all 5 of them, that I asked her not to bring because I'm allergic and they aren't housebroken, if you and your cats move out. I started laughing, thinking it was a joke, and she said, seriously, I want you to leave now. I looked at her like she'd lost her mind and pretended and reminded her that she is a guest in my house and that I've been living in for over 12 years. And if my presence bothers her, she can stop squatting in my guest room and get the F out. She refused to leave us. She refused to leave. She refused to leave. I don't know why this it has a U in here for some reason. She refused to leave. Eventually, she got trespassed from the property for screaming at my landlord and threatening to attack her with a pit bull. Oh, that sounds, yeah, she sounds like a winner. Now she's telling everyone who will listen that I conspired with my landlord to steal her house from under her, that I ruined her life. She's never lived here and only stayed here a few weeks. I have been here 12 years. I've been the only person on my lease the entire time. I don't understand how you can be that entitled and delusional. Not just me, so says I think unhinged is a better description than entitled. Yeah. Um she's crazy. Like what the what? What did she think she was gonna do? That's insane. That's insanity. Just because you stay in somebody's guest room for a couple of weeks does not make you their roommate. Wow. Craziness. People be nuts. Next one is from Mother-in-laws from Hell. My mother-in-law organized our wedding celebration without us and we can't attend and she doesn't care. Okay. Mom just wants a party. She just wants a party. Me, 30 female 31, and my husband, male 34, got married last weekend. Congratulations. My mother-in-law was very helpful with cakes she baked for the wedding, but she also showed up in a long white dress with huge cleavlets for the evening wedding party. Of course she did. Of course she did. That is a different story you can read in here. I'm still quite confused and mad about it. She is the type of woman who always acts like the innocent angel with a high-pitched voice and never says anything negative. I know people like that. I've lived with people like that. She only makes this passive aggressive innocent comments. You can never know what she really thinks because she will not tell you. So anyway, we were not invited to my husband's grandparents and part of his So anyway, we were not able to invite my husband's grandparents and part of his family to our wedding because they are too unwell or travel to a different city or couldn't come. Because of that, we decided we would organize a separate wedding celebration lunch just for them in their city. That's nice. It's a nice thing to do. We wanted to organize it at the end of September, but we unexpectedly learned that we have to move flats 2 weeks after the wedding, so that was a huge complication, and we wanted to postpone the lunch after we moved. That's reasonable, because moving while working 2 full-time jobs is a lot of work and stress. Yes, it is. Somehow, I have no idea how, my mother-in-law started to organize it behind our backs. She picked the restaurant we didn't want, reserved it, invited everyone, and just told us the date. She did not discuss the date with us and is totally not suitable for us. We said to her, this is very not okay with us. And if she can cancel, and she said she is not able to cancel, and if we won't come, it'll be a shame, but they will celebrate anyway. That is not how you celebrate a newlywed couple. You cannot celebrate them without them being there. What the hell? We said that we are not okay with that. We don't understand how they can celebrate our wedding without us. I guess she will just get in her wedding dress and that will do. Just kidding. No, that's probably exactly what she'll do. I don't get why she's not able to cancel a reservation that is supposed to be in more than 2 weeks. Why she did this behind her backs? Is this a manipulation to get us there no matter what? I feel like this is another passive aggressive thing. Since she is acting like she is doing us a favor and sweet as honey, but in reality she's just totally ignoring our wants and needs. Please give me your opinions or if you went through something similar. ICU says, F her, let her spend the money and make a fool of herself in front of everyone. Yeah, she should just let it go. I mean, when you don't show up, everybody's going to know what she did. Let her look like a fool. Just plan your own thing with your husband's family and then do what you want and don't invite her. No, no, when you do the other one, you should invite her so everybody can tell her what an idiot she is. I just go no contact with her. She clearly does not give a crap about anyone but herself. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let a few relatives know that they won't be at the mother-in-law's celebration. Once word gets out, things may change. Yeah, yeah. You just tell somebody, "Hey, I know you were invited to this. We're not going to be there. This is not our thing. Um, please be advised." Oh, people are crazy. There's a lot of craziness in here today. It'll get more crazy as we go on, as the month goes on. R slash what should I do? Titled Car I Sold Months Ago Just Showed Up Behind My House. What should I do? So, a couple of months back, I sold my old car that I couldn't get started. Two teenage boys came with a trailer, paid for it, and hauled it off. End of story, right? Well, today it randomly showed up behind my house. Same trailer, same exact setup as the day I left. My mom and I are both freaked out because we don't know who brought it back or why. It wasn't us. No one asked permission, is now literally sitting behind my house like it never left. We don't know if it's some weird prank, stolen back and ditched, or something more dangerous. I honestly feel unsafe, like, who just leaves a junk car back where they bought it from months ago? What should I do here? Call the police? Try to contact the buyers? Or should I just get it towed and be done with it? I have never dealt with this before. Well, first I check to see if the title's changed, because if they didn't change the title, it's still your car, technically. If they brought it back, hmm, see if it works. Are the keys in it? Try to turn it on. They might think they're doing you a favor, bringing your car back, and now it works. You never know. But definitely contact the buyer. Say, what the heck is up with this? Um, so Simon's dad says, received a you received payment, title was signed over, legal transfer, and tranquil confusion. That's an oxymoron. Says, yeah, make sure the title gets transferred when you sell a car. You don't want your old car running around with your name still legally attached to it, and you don't want to be liable for sales tax evasion. Um, hired guy, hired design gay says not only is sales tax evasion, but also registration, inspection fees, and related annual taxes and property taxes. My state doesn't really have any of that. It would only be the sales tax. Um, so yeah, I would make sure the title got transferred because it could still be in your name and they just returned your car to you, which would be weird. I don't know. Is there any updates on this? No, it doesn't look like there's any updates on that. She got lots of drama going on though. Okay, last one for the day is from Petty Revenge, entitled Worked Out Even Nicer Than I Thought. I live 100 miles from a school. I think that's what that means. I'm usually totally fine with that. No problems whatsoever. What drives me up the wall is when school's out. Grandparents sometimes park in front of my driveway. So I come home from work and there is someone parked, still sitting in the car in front of the driveway. Now I'm tired. I had a bad day. Kind of done with this BS. So I signal the guy to please move. He gives me the standard. It's just 5 minutes to pick up the kids routine. So I cut off my engine, blocking the entire street. People honking until the traffic cop who regulates the traffic at the start and end of school comes over. He asks why I'm stopped, and I answer, "Oh, that's probably 100 meters from a school." Y'all need to be more specific. "Oh, it's no big deal. This guy's just parked in front of my driveway for 5 minutes to pick up his kids." Cop goes over to the other guy and ends up giving him a ticket. I would have been happy with him just moving, but this turned out way better. Yeah, don't block people from their own driveways, people. It's rude. It's rude. That's what happened. Satsuna says, that's what happens when you break the law. I've had this happen where someone parks in front of my space at my apartment complex. One guy just wouldn't get it until I had him towed for illegal parking. Then I sued him because I had to pay for the tow. I'm in Michigan. Judge had him reimburse me for the tow and my attorney and court costs. You faffoed. Oh. Original Rondon says, I'm sure I'm not the only person that got a justice boner from your response. Feel free to wear a cape because you are my hero. This is why I come to Reddit. Oh, it's just funny. Oh, that's good. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for the day. Um, don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends, please. We're here every day around 10 o'clock. I hope everybody has a good weekend. I might be able to get on Sunday. I'm not sure yet. Um, but I'll set it up like an hour before and put my little graphic that I had up earlier up um, so that we can gather, gather. Um, so have a good weekend, guys, and I'll see you probably on Monday. If I don't show up Monday, it'll be Tuesday. Don't know what my schedule is because it depends on other people's. Take care. Bye, Biddy.